mystic ancient secrets can all be answered when you ask the mystic Access Guru. That is I, the great exalted one. I have come across 3 astral projections through the god plane and the hero metamorphosis to give you the knowledge you deserve.
All right, whoever's here, we got a couple of people here. But today's chew toy is this dipshit named Stephen A. Young. According to his bio, he's a PhD of theoretical physics and a wait a second. Oh, hold on a second. Why won't that move? Why can't I move that? Hold on. Oh, that's why. I don't know why it's locked. Anyway, hey Petey, how you doing? Loving your series. But this is Stephen A. Young. And before we get to this one, let's see. There's a couple shorts.
The sound of the vortex. It sounds.
Hold on a second. Let me fix it so we can see the whole thing. I hate fucking shorts. Hey, let's force everybody to go vertical.
Sounds like. It sounds like a throat. It sounds like gargling your toothpaste, right? Because the vortex has a throat. Yeah, the vortex is a mouth. Our mouth is the top of the vortex.
No, our mouth is a mouth. The vortex is an opening due to physics, due to conservation of angular momentum and water current.
Our throat is the body, and our, anus is the bottom of the vortex, right? When you look at the vortex as well, the top is quite stable, but the bottom, it whips around. It's like a snake's tail or something.
Just like our anus.
And this is our lower animal nature, but we have this higher mental nature that's more stable and able to bring the lower nature under control. So yeah, the vortex actually combines the above and the below, the masculine and the feminine, and even like all the different views of the cosmos, the globe earth and the flat earth, both of them have a vortex. Yeah, the vortex is really the great unifying principle.
No, they don't both have a vortex. Wow.
That unites all points of view and all sort of paradoxes.
Oh, so flat earth and globe earth unite all views and all fuck off. What a fucking clown.
You can talk about alchemy.
I tell you, fucking let anybody write a book and they think they're a fucking genius.
Alchemists, people who practiced alchemy, but no alchemist ever claimed credit for alchemy. It is never credited to any human being.
Right, alchemy isn't real. Alchemy died when science took over.
But it's all modern science is. Darwin's this.
No, modern science isn't alchemy, dipshit. Modern science is modern science. Alchemy died when modern science took over.
This and Einstein's that and Hawking's this and Pasteur and Copernicus and Kepler and stuff. What that means is it was born in their mind. That's why you have to say their name whenever you talk about it. You can't talk about gravity without talking about Newton.
Right, because Newton discovered the formula for gravity, quantified it.
Einstein or Hawking. But alchemy, it's of the gods. It's of nature. It is the science of nature itself. It's happening all the time. It's like it wasn't made.
No, alchemy is pseudoscience.
By us. It's like it's happening inside of us, it's happening around us, and we're always participating in alchemy. But if we haven't learned the ancient wisdom, then we can't participate in it consciously. We participate in it unconsciously, day to day. Digestion of food, that's an alchemical process. And there's always alchemy happening in our bodies and everything, right? But if you don't...
No, that's not an alchemical process. Holy fuck, dude.
When I should know the ancient science, then you can't consciously participate in it.
So, yeah, he's just another dipshit who wrote a book.
Was there a definitive moment when you kind of sat back and thought, hang on a minute, is this rubbish or what?
There's so many levels to it, and I break down the different levels in the book, the physics.
This short is titled, When a Shaman debunks modern science.
And the chemistry and like medicine and biology, all those subjects have theoretical ideology which underpins them, and it's like a set of theories. It took a while to
And he doesn't know what a theory is.
understand
Hey, biggest August.
the arguments against all of the modern theories. But I mean, I did have a funny moment when I spent some time out in Honduras working with a shaman there. There was one time I was talking to him and we were talking about the visions you see in like a spiritual sort of state of consciousness. And I was like trying to explain that using quantum physics. You know, I was trying to like draw on my quantum physics education to sort of try and figure out what's actually happening. You know, I was just saying all this stuff, and the shaman, he just looked at me, he put his hand on my shoulder and he's like, Steve, it's all bullshit.
So that debunks modern science? Just some dumb fuck who takes too much DMT says it's all bullshit? Fuck, what an idiot. So, let's see. Let's go shortest to longest. How about that?
Greetings.
This is 8, 9, this is 12, and then this one is 13. So we'll do this.
Greetings, folks. Hope you're doing well.
This is Beware the Puffer. Our gold is not the vulgar gold by Stephen A. Young.
Beautiful summer's evening here. It's been a great spring and summer so far. Nature is blooming.
Hey, Cygnus.
And the amount of fruit on the trees is amazing, like probably the best year we've seen. But yeah, I was going to talk today about a concept from alchemy called the puffer. The puffer. Yeah, so the puffer are these sort of fake alchemists, right? They would basically, they were called puffers because they're always sitting by their forge with the bellows puffing hot air into the flames in order to get it to burn hotter to turn their lead into gold. And you know, there's this famous image of the puffer, and you know, his house is a complete mess. Like, it's like there's nothing beautiful in there at all, like no books or anything, because he doesn't study. His wife and children are in squalor, and he's just sat by the fire just puffing, you know, just trying to make that gold. It's a strong image and archetype in alchemy because it's really teaching us how not to be an alchemist.
So yeah, the puffers were the pseudo alchemists. He's the real alchemist.
You know, how to do it the wrong way. That's what
okay.
it's that's
So how do you turn gold into lead, or lead into gold? How do you do that? Because that's what alchemy is about. That's the ultimate goal of alchemy, is to transmogrify one element to another. So how do you do it, dipshit? Or you just talk about it?
That's what the lesson is there. The puffers, for whatever reason, they haven't really done their research. They don't really care too much about doing research and actually reading things and studying and integrating the knowledge.
Oh, but you do, right? You do?
They believe that they've...
And I've tagged him in the title, so he knows that this is going.
Found a shortcut to living like a king. And all they have to do is, you know, melt some lead and puff, 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 puff.
Right, and you found a shortcut to being intelligent. You just say you are.
Puff it harder, puff it hard.
So you just say you're intelligent, and I guess you are, right?
And eventually it will turn into gold and they can live like a king. All right, here we go. I got some cherries here. Nom nom nom. Oh, you're so good.
So anyway, he's an ignorant dipshit mocking other ignorant dipshits. Very good. This is The Awakening, rethinking modern science and rediscovering ancient wisdom. Yes, the ancients knew more about science than we do now.
Greetings, good people. It's a beautiful autumnal evening here. I hope you're doing well. Thought it's about time I made another walkie-talkie video. I'm working on a longer form video, like documentary style, with scripted narration and artwork and animation and stuff. But that could take a little while, and it's important to do these off the cuff kind of videos as well. So you're probably starting to gather that I got some pretty controversial views about science. I didn't come to those lightly, by the way.
So this is all you need to know about him. After 20 years of contemplation, 20 years, observation and analysis and introspection, I've come to see the limitations of the theories I've learned, particularly atomism and the materialistic worldview it promotes. So, yeah. So he doesn't believe in atoms. Hey, Awesemo.
It wasn't like I just decided one day to just like jump ship. I obviously went to school and university and got a PhD and everything, and then spent 20 years, continuing to research and try and figure out what's going on and get a fundamental understanding of reality. And in those 20 years, I found the teachings from my physics classes to be incapable of standing up to scrutiny. And there's basically two kinds of science, right? There's positive science, which is science that produces something. It's like empirical, it's practical. The theory is applied through a methodology and human labor to create something which is real, functional, or valuable in the world. This is positive sciences. But there's also negative sciences, which don't produce anything. They just use brain power, they use computing power.
I mean, kind of like what you're doing right now. Not using anything, just saying words.
They, take a lot of time to, do all these equations and solve the equations and run the codes and debug them and everything. But nothing is actually produced at the end of it. And I think a lot of people who get into science end up in this kind of position. And, not only do they not produce anything useful for humanity, but they don't really get any real benefit for it themselves either. It's just like this industry of mindless calculation of inconsequential theoretical calculations, really. And I was a part of it, and I can see it very clearly now for what it is. I can see how I was totally mesmerized by all the equations and all the terminology. And
No, it's actually a PhD in theoretical physics.
I believed in everything, literally. But I was given no alternative, no criticism. We're just told this is how it is.
Which tells us that he's a complete liar. So physics, science gives feedback.
And the awakening that everyone talks about, well, awakening it happens to people in all different fields, right? It's like all different disciplines, doctors, lawyers, physicists, all kinds of different disciplines have an awakening. What happens when they awaken is the things they were taught to believe are no longer believable. And, there's a million...
You mean like alchemy? Yeah, they were completely correct.
In different ways you can arrive at it, but that's ultimately what happens. It's just it's no longer believable. I believed it, I bought it for as long as I could, I ran with it, flew the flag,
But I just couldn't debunk it, so it has to be true because I'm a smart guy, and if I couldn't debunk it, then it must be real. How many times have we heard this before?
But eventually, through a bit of questioning and criticism, it just completely dissolved into ashes and is now no longer believable.
Yes, you are true. That is absolutely true, Cygnus.
And, you know, that is where I'm at with a lot of modern science. And it's all theoretical. This is the thing. Like, there's a whole tower.
So basically he's saying I was lucky that I made it through college and got a PhD because I'm dumb as dog shit.
Of theories built upon theories, and they all rest on this foundation of atomism, which, as I say, was what I specialized in my PhD. And even I am very, very skeptical that there's any such thing as an atom or an electron that exists in the real world. And I know people will say, oh, but what about this?
I don't know if he did DMT. That's what a lot of shamans do. This guy isn't the shaman. He was talking about another guy.
What about that and everything? And frankly, I have considered everything. It's been a really long time. And, you know, I considered it all. And I don't believe in the atomic theory or the nuclear
Hey, Debatable D. Hey, Karens, I'm Kemp Bush.
theory any longer. And, you know, this just unravels the whole of modern theoretical science, which is...
I don't know. Looks like Flats has given up on the flat Earth. Probably discovered that he can't prove it, so he just gave it up. Or just got tired of being proven to be a fucking idiot.
entirely built on this belief system that everything is made from atoms and everything is made by atoms. And what it actually is, these theories are not, you know, they don't just like develop them in isolation, you know.
We've photographed atoms, dipshit, with a scanning tunneling microscope, you dumb fuck.
Randomly for no reason. They're always built to project a particular worldview, a particular religious belief or a creed. And in the case of atomism, it's just atheism, pure and simple.
No, it's not. Atoms are real. You're made of them, you fucking retard.
Atomism is
Good point, Bug. Good point, Biggest.
atheism formalized into a scientific worldview. It essentially, you know, it gets rid of the spirit, the soul, and the creator, and says everything is just little material balls flying around.
Yeah, funny how science debunks the idea of a god. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how science, demonstrable, provable, measurable science, repeatable science debunks the idea of mythology? Isn't that funny?
Found in a vacuum. And, you know, it's just a model. But
so he doesn't know what a model is. So he claims to be a PhD, but he doesn't know what a theory is. He doesn't know what a model is. Everyone get your brooms. I declare shenanigans.
they actually teach it as if it's a fact. And then people believe, well, that's all we are, that's all it is. We're all just a bunch of atoms bumping around in space.
Yeah, so he's just another ignorant, dumb motherfucker who needs God because he feels insignificant and inadequate, and he has a low sense of self-esteem. He needs God to give his life purpose because reality just doesn't do it for him.
But
What a coward. He's afraid to face reality.
of course, this is not how the ancients understood it at all.
Nobody gives a fuck what the ancients understood, dipshit. We have modern science that completely debunks everything the ancients said. Okay?
Ancient sciences of astrology, alchemy, natural philosophy.
Oh, astrology. Oh, okay. Yes, okay.
All were centered around the human soul, and they were spiritual sciences that acknowledged the creator. So it turns out all that was just like eliminated from science throughout the 1700s and the so-called scientific revolution.
Yes, the same as the five humors. That was eliminated too because we have a greater understanding of the world around us, you dumb fuck.
There were...
I mean, like I said, man, we live in the age of the Jetsons, and dumb motherfuckers like this willfully choose to think like Fred Flintstone. Literally.
high up groups of people like oligarchs who were adamant that the human soul does not exist, and they wanted it removed completely from the sciences. And this is how we have this modern science, which is, you know, completely like a godless creed. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, I used to be an atheist, but life taught me otherwise, and you know, I came to believe in God many years ago, and it really helped my understanding of science, because I realized...
Oh yeah, it looks like it's helped you. It looks like it's helped your understanding of science, you fucking fraud.
realized how the science I've been taught is just like this little fraction, this little like materialistic shard of science, but there's this whole picture to science when you include the soul and the spirit.
No, the soul and the spirit are considered unfalsifiable narratives, and being a PhD, or so you claim, you would understand that science abhors an unfalsifiable narrative.
And so I think alchemy and astrology are wonderful sciences that teach us about who we are.
No, astrology and alchemy are not sciences. They're pseudoscientific woo. Jesus Christ, what an idiot. So the next video is mass hysteria and the nuclear conspiracy. Oh, I love to play on words. So he doesn't believe in nukes. He doesn't believe in nuclear. Of course he doesn't.
Mass hysteria and the nuclear conspiracy. So there's been a lot of comments and activity on my recent presentation on nuclear power, and thank you to everyone who's contributed. It's a hot topic, so I thought it'd be wise to follow up with an article adding some broader context and diving deeper into the history of the mystery. So if you haven't yet, I would highly recommend watching the presentation. I'm not going to talk about the bomb in this article. I'm just going to talk about the power stations, which is a different tech actually. But there's enough discussion of the bomb narrative in the presentation. Primarily, I set about trying to explain the workings of nuclear power in simple elemental terms, without invoking the unfalsifiable theoretical claim of splitting the uranium atom with neutrons.
It's not a unfalsifiable narrative, dumb fuck. Hey, Westside. It's not an unfalsifiable narrative, you idiot.
In the process of this investigation, I stumbled into deeper and deeper layers of the nuclear conspiracy.
Mean rabbit holes?
Note, when you finish writing about something, you start learning a lot more about that thing.
When you finish writing about something, you learn about... No, it works the other way around, stupid. It works the other way around. See, if you write a book without knowing about it, you're a fucking moron. You're a blowhard.
I myself am neither pro-nuclear or anti-nuclear. I only...
Really? Okay.
I got into it as a PhD subject because I was fascinated by quantum mechanics, and nuclear physics is an application of that same mathematical framework. But it's important to understand that academic nuclear physics has nothing to do with power stations or bombs. It is essentially just mathematical modeling of the interactions between light and matter. Nevertheless, there has been a strong and persistent anti-nuclear movement since the late 1940s. The first power stations came online in the early 50s, and the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, CND, was formed in the UK in 1958. The general rationale of anti-nuclear is that the power stations are producing weapons-grade fuel and are essentially ticking time bombs. Eventually, something will go wrong, and the consequences will be a disaster comparable to a nuclear bomb going off in your local area. Therefore, given the dangers involved, there can be no positive use for nuclear. All nuclear is bad. There should be no nuclear anything, period. This is the anti-nuclear position, and it's a hard line. Such strong views are understandable, especially given what we're told by scientists about its potential danger, toxicity, and destructive power. We can easily sympathize with the movement, because nuclear doesn't really present itself as something you'd want in your neighborhood anyway. It's not a very appealing line of work. What with all the radioactive neutron bombardment, toxic waste, and the risk you might accidentally drop a spanner and cause a meltdown that leads to the obliteration of an entire county. Thankfully, you don't have to have a PhD in nuclear physics to know just how terrible and unsafe nuclear power is. You need look no further than the introduction to The Simpsons, which has been running for over 36 years.
Jesus, another dumb fuck who cites cartoons.
And is one of the most watched shows
Because cartoons are real life, aren't they?
in the world. In it, we are shown everything we need to know about nuclear. We see Homer working away at the Springfield nuclear power plant, overtly portrayed as toxic with green glowing waste, leaking pipes and hazardous materials everywhere. A precarious and dangerous environment, poorly maintained, dilapidated and unsafe, with Homer narrowly avoiding various disasters.
Yes, and that's a cartoon. It's not real life, dumb fuck.
The show constantly portrays nuclear as inherently dangerous through various loaded images, such as luminous radioactive rats in the plant's bowels, leaking pipes and drums of radioactive waste, plutonium used as paperweights.
And actually, if you want to get technical, The Simpsons got it wrong because the color would be blue, not green.
Cracked cooling towers held together with chewing gum. Dangerously high Geiger counter readings. Emergency exits that are simply painted on the walls. Workers falling asleep at the control rods. And of course, Blinky, the three-eyed fish, a mutant creature from the nearby lake. And no nuclear power plant would be complete without an incompetent management team. Mr. Burns, like Sulfur Burns, the evil billionaire who prioritizes profit over people at every opportunity, and Mr. Smithers, the unqualified safety inspector with a homoerotic infatuation for his boss. That story, or spell, has been cast all over the US and the world.
A spell? So he thinks stories are spells. What a fucking moron this guy is. Holy shit.
Multiple times a day, 7 days a week for the last 36 years. So all studious television watchers should be quite well informed and aligned in their perception of nuclear power by now.
Why? Why would anyone who watches The Simpsons be studious about nuclear energy? Holy fucking shit.
And when you take all that imagery and you mix it up
No, you don't see that when you visit one because it's not true. The Simpsons are a fucking cartoon, man. The Simpsons are a work of fiction. Jesus fucking Christ, this guy's dumb.
with a dash of World War II propaganda,
But he's found a bunch of people that tell him he's a fucking genius. Like this guy. I love it. I love it. Love it. There it is. Great work, Steve. Knowledge offers so much freedom. Thank you for giving us that. Love your channel. See, he's found a whole bunch of fucking morons dumber than him to tell him he's a fucking genius.
Some videos of large explosions in the desert, and throw in a few highly publicized accidents to generate some hysteria, there can be no excuse for anyone being unaware that nuclear equals bad. Well, you can imagine my surprise when I discovered that these power stations may not be nuclear at all, but rather a kind of alchemical furnace, not nearly as dangerous and toxic as we've been led to believe, and potentially capable of powering societies with cheap, clean electrical energy for a very long time.
Okay, take the demon core. Pop it open. Tell us what you get, buddy. Make it quick. You better make it quick.
I was also surprised to learn that the anti-nuclear movement wasn't a grassroots organization of peace-loving hippies who just wanted to defend and protect the environment. No, it turns out it was a top-down agenda, largely funded by the fossil fuel companies, oil and gas, who considered nuclear to be a direct threat to their business, and consider the peace-loving hippies to be useful idiots. Furthermore, nuclear power stations have specifically been targeted for permanent cancellation by our malevolent overlords. In the 1993 book Conspirators' Hierarchy, The Story of the Committee of 300 by Dr. John Coleman, he spells out
Well, he's got all the trigger words down, doesn't he? He's got all the trigger words memorized.
the one world government agenda in the form of the 21 goals of the Illuminati. Now, I won't go through all of them as it makes for very sobering reading, but if you want to understand why everything in the West is rapidly going to hell, then you'll find some semblance of an explanation in that list. It includes such laudable ambitions as the destruction of sovereign nations and national identity, the destruction of the Christian religion, mass unemployment and the demoralization of workers, an end to all industrialization and scientific progress except for computer tech, constant wars, disease and starvation to reduce the population, to stop people from deciding their own destinies by creating one crisis after another. The normalization of drug abuse, legitimization of pornography as an art form, the total collapse of the world's economies, and the obliteration of the education system.
Bet this guy's a hoot at a party.
Now, if your eyes are open, then you will have noticed that this plan is already well underway.
If your eyes are open.
And actually at quite an advanced stage of development and showing no signs of slowing down. But the part that is most relevant to our discussion of nuclear is the end to all industrialization and scientific progress. This is considered a crucial step towards the post-industrial zero-growth society, which involves the elimination of nuclear power for peaceful purposes. So this means that the oligarch class have decided that nuclear is allowed to be used for warfare, destruction, and fear-mongering.
So who's the Illuminati, buddy? Who are they? Name them. Name the Illuminati. Because from what I understand, the Illuminati existed, what, hundreds of years ago? And they didn't have nuclear power back then.
But not allowed to be used for peaceful civilization
So there must be somebody making these rules. Who are they?
building. I hope that makes sense. The first order of business for anti-nuclear is to stop the creation of any new power plants. And the second is to gradually snuff out the existing ones until they're all gone. Remember, this is not to keep us safe from radiation poisoning, but to keep us safe from energy abundance. We muggles are too savage and unevolved.
Muggles? Oh, okay. So he believes in magic. Jesus fucking Christ. This guy's dumb.
We would be a danger to ourselves and each other if we had unrestricted access to power. It must be made scarce and expensive, but achieving this is no mean feat. One does not simply ask sovereign nations to shut down large swaths of their energy infrastructure and hold back their development. There would need to be some reason for it, some kind of threat to the climate, perhaps, or some perceived danger from keeping them operational. Well, in 1979,
So is he a climate denialist too? It wouldn't surprise me.
there was a series of divinely timed events that helped the cause tremendously. First was the release of the movie The China Syndrome, a story about a near catastrophic meltdown incident at the fictional Ventana nuclear power plant in California.
Right, that actually happened in Chernobyl, dumb fuck.
The term China Syndrome describes a hypothetical nuclear disaster scenario
So hey, wear a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and go to Chernobyl. Go there. Check it out, man. Check it out. Check out Ground Zero. If you think nuclear is fake, go there. I dare you.
get this, where reactor components melt through their containment structures and into the underlying Earth, theoretically continuing all the way to China, resulting in a giant hole burned through the center of the globe and vast parts of the Earth destroyed. So the sci-fi writers really earned their bread in those days. Then, just 12 days after the movie hit theaters, there was the incident at the 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania, an alleged meltdown that resulted in precisely 0
An alleged meltdown?
fatalities, but led to 140,000 people being evacuated, a $1 billion cleanup operation, and a radical overhaul of the nuclear industry. Imagine coming out of the cinema after watching The China Syndrome, then seeing the news headline that a meltdown just occurred for real. Public perception of nuclear was dialed all the way up to hysteria, and this was used to justify halting all new nuclear power plant development in the United States for the next 30 years. So a big win for anti-nuclear. Chernobyl in 1986 was another very well publicized accident. It turned out to be a godsend for the anti-nuclear movement. It caused the Soviets to halt their nuclear expansion program while they implemented new safety inspections and upgrades. Italy accelerated the demise of its nuclear program, eventually shutting down the last reactor in 1990, and Germany vowed to begin phasing out theirs over the long term. Then, with Fukushima in 2000,
So what did he say?
syndrome, then see. Imagine coming out of the cinema after watching The China Syndrome, then seeing the news headline that a meltdown just occurred for real. Public perception of nuclear was dialed all the way up to hysteria, and this was used to justify halting all new nuclear power plant development in the United States for the next 30 years.
Hold on a second.
Up to hysteria, and this was used to justify halting all new nuclear power plant development in the United States by halting all new nuclear power plant development in the United States for the next
The 1979 Three Mile Island incident or accident did not legally halt all nuclear construction for 30 years, but it severely solidified public opposition, increased regulatory scrutiny, and caused a sharp decline in new plant orders. The slowdown was already occurring due to high costs, but TMI turned this trend into a virtual halt in new U.S. construction for decades. So
30 years. So a big win for anti-nuclear. Chernobyl in 1986 was another very well publicized accident. It turned out to be a godsend for the anti-nuclear movement. It caused the Soviets to halt their nuclear expansion.
all right, enough of this shit. We already watched that. So the last video is a goodbye to gravity and the real reason why things fall.
Did you see the news? We're going back to the moon.
We're back at the moon. What do you mean we're going? We already went. We're there now. Actually, let me see. Where is Artemis 2 now? As of April 4, 2026, the Artemis 2 Orion spacecraft Integrity is in deep space more than halfway to the moon. Having successfully launched on April 1st, the carrier is nearing a lunar flyby to swing around the moon before returning to Earth on the 10-day mission.
That's right. We're going back to the moon today on April Fool's Day of 2026.
Yeah?
Well, that's if you believe that kind of thing. I, for one, certainly do not.
Well, then you're a stupid motherfucker.
In fact, not only do I not believe in the moon landing, but I don't believe it's even possible.
How? How is it not possible, Mr. PhD?
And did you know?
So he doesn't understand what a model is. He doesn't understand what a theory is, and he doesn't understand. He claims to be a PhD, and he doesn't know the third law of motion.
Know that today is the 66th anniversary of the first ever photograph of the globe Earth, which was also published by NASA, also on April Fool's Day. Now, why do they do this kind of thing on Fool's Day? Well, firstly, it's because
it's a day out of the year that they do shit.
They are actually fooling the public. But secondly, there's a kind of plausible deniability, so that if they get completely exposed for their shenanigans in the future, they can always say, it was just a joke. So, anyway, they're going to pretend to send people to the moon today, and we can all watch the show and have a good laugh. Now, I thought I would do a video on the subject
What a dumb fucking loser.
of gravity,
Yeah, if you're gullible enough to believe in April Fool's Day, yeah.
because I get a lot of questions about gravity, and it really is the linchpin that holds this entire fake view of the cosmos.
I'll be right back. I gotta grab a soda. And I'm having soda right now because I'm waiting for my mango chunks to freeze so I can have smoothies.
Together. So I've tried to really break it down
It's the third law of motion.
and help you understand why gravity is not a real thing. It's just a theory and it doesn't actually apply to reality, and what this means for our understanding of the universe. So I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you think. Apples may fall, but gravity is not real. Let me explain. So we know from experience that falling objects are accelerated towards the ground. It's an undeniable phenomenon, something we can all observe and verify. Everyone knows it, nobody is denying it. So when we hear gravity is not real, it sounds preposterous, provocative, and even paradoxical. Furthermore, it completely contradicts the proclamations of physicists who have the dubious distinction of being chief among the intellectual elite and have been drilling the theory of gravity into the minds of the populace for hundreds of years.
Yes, because it's a proven scientific theory, dipshit. It's demonstrable, measurable, repeatable.
To break down this problem, we must first disentangle the real effect.
Hey, Professor Phil Bell. Yep, found a new one. Man, I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. Sorry to hear it.
Effect of falling objects from the hypothetical cause of the force of gravity. There are other possible causes for falling bodies, which I will get to. Newton's revolutionary idea was that physical objects exert an attractive force on other physical objects by virtue of their mass. So unlike magnetism,
Yes, mass attracts mass. This is proven.
which is electrical with a selective short range of action, gravity is said to be non-electric, long range, attracting all matter unto itself, regardless of whether it's charged, metallic, crystalline, solid, liquid, or gas. Newton postulated that the strength of the gravitational force between two objects was proportional to the mass of the objects and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So as the mass increases, the force increases. And as the distance between the objects gets closer, the force increases exponentially.
Exponentially?
It's important to understand that the equation is an expression of this hypothesis in symbolic form, but it bears no relation to reality.
So if the math works out and it's an explanation of the hypothesis, then the hypothesis is true. This guy doesn't know shit about science.
Yes, objects do
Yes, Phil, he claims to be a PhD in theoretical physics. That's his claim. Do you think his claim is correct?
indeed fall when released from a height, but no, there is not a long-range force that causes all matter to pull together over vast distances. This kind of force has been called magical action at a distance, as it is something like telekinesis and was of particular interest
Yes, they called it magical. They called it magical back in Newton's day, but not now. What the fuck are you talking about?
to Isaac Newton, who was apparently a magician himself. John Maynard Keynes, who purchased Newton's private papers, discovered that he had written far more on the subject of alchemy and theology than on physics or maths combined. He went on to describe Newton as the last magician. Ironically, Newton's obsession with physical attraction did not seem to translate to his love life. He
Yes, science to idiots is magic.
was never seen with a woman in all his days, produced no children, and so was also the last of his bloodline. But if the theory of gravity were true, if mass attracted mass universally, then there should be measurable acceleration in the horizontal direction, not only the vertical.
There is in the Cavendish. There is in the Cavendish experiment. But like if you're standing next to a cliff, the downward acceleration toward the Earth would be greater because it's a bigger mass than that wall you're standing next to, you dumb fuck.
We would expect balls
But in the Cavendish, they do go sideways. It does go sideways because you've eliminated the downward acceleration, and you're only relying on the mass of the balls to produce the results.
to roll towards each other and cluster together. Mountains and large buildings should generate a significant
So he doesn't understand laws of motion. Still, he doesn't understand that you need energy put into a system before you get movement in that system.
attractive force and draw objects toward them. We should feel a pull in our flesh every time we walk past a dense object, but we don't.
Why? Why would we feel that?
Yet we are told that it must be true because it was proven long
So just in him saying that we should feel a pull on a wall when we walk by it proves that he doesn't understand the math he showed.
ago by the Cavendish experiment in 1797. From the tiny
There you go. What direction do you think these balls are moving? Horizontally, maybe?
movements of a highly sensitive apparatus in a sealed room, it was deduced that all the matter in the cosmos is governed by mutual attraction. It is perhaps the most assumption-laden experiment in the history of natural philosophy.
No, it's not, because he proved it's correct. He proved it's correct. It's not an assumption, moron.
The hubris and credulity is off the scale. It appears to have been set up specifically to confirm Newton's hypothesis. We would be foolish to accept the theory of gravity based on the behavior of this one janky contraption from 1797.
What about a janky contraption from 2023? How about that? Or 2024 or 25 or 26? Because I guarantee if you go to if you go to enough universities, you're going to find one. So what about the janky contraption that you can buy from Amazon, brand new, dumb fuck?
There are many other explanations for why the apparatus may have moved. Air currents, temperature differentials, body.
No, the air currents were eliminated because it was sealed in the room. Electrostatics are eliminated because the material he used is neutral, electrostatically neutral. What else, buddy? What else? What other excuses do you have?
Heat, mechanical stress, or any number of other
Mechanical stress? Then why do the balls remain stationary until you move the larger masses in place? Why then?
reasons. It is a hasty generalization and glaring confirmation bias to attribute such motion to Newton's theory of gravity. Ultimately, if gravity were real, we would expect all the solid, liquid, and gas in the universe to be drawn towards the most dense point, where the force would get stronger and more concentrated with each and every new particle that it draws in.
Why? See, we have an atmosphere that tells you that our gas is held to the earth by gravity. Just look at his dumb shit. Look at his dumb fat fucking face.
Taken to its inevitable conclusion, the whole universe would be squashed together into a pulp, and the force would increase all the way to infinity, compressing everything into oblivion forever.
See, that's because he thinks that it's exponential. That he thinks there isn't a top end to the attractive force of gravity. Because he's stupid. He's a dumb motherfucker.
This quantitative
Yes, absolutely, Professor Phil Bell. In a vacuum chamber, even.
quandary is the mathematical condition known as the black hole, a fictional state of matter that occurs in the minds of physicists when their denominators go.
And in space, when we see light being warped by them, it's not just in our minds, motherfucker. See, all your bullshit is nowhere but in your mind.
Go to zero.
Alchemy, that's in your mind, man. Your God, that's in your mind. So he's just a hypocritical fuck.
You see, this is where the theory breaks down.
I don't know if he thinks the earth is flat or not. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for a bit.
If two objects are touching each other, then the distance between them, r, goes to zero, and the force must go to infinity. Now, a rational mind would consider this a red flag, pointing to a serious issue, flaw, or limitation within the foundational assumptions. But physicists, well acquainted with making stuff up, have developed ways to
No, physicists don't make stuff up, man. You're making stuff up right now. You're making stuff up right now. See if the gravitational force between two masses approached infinity when they came together. You couldn't pull them apart, dumb fuck. Holy shit. Just another fucking clown who thinks he's an intelligent little boy.
normalize infinities. Wait until you see quantum field theory. And so instead of calling it a problem, they call it a prediction. Newton predicts the existence
Right, and those predictions are proven true in experiments.
of a force governed by his equation. Then the equation predicts the existence of black holes. Now, we all have to believe in black holes, got it? The equation predicted it, so it...
No, you don't have to believe in anything, but if you don't, you're considered fucking ignorant. Hold on. Ah, shit. This fucking cord is gonna piss me off.
must be true.
Yeah, I think I can unplug it.
It's not only a theory, they tell us, it's a law.
Yeah, it's a fucking law. Yes, gravity is a law, motherfucker. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a law of nature.
And with that, the law of gravity has been used to make extremely wide-ranging claims and predictions about the whole entire cosmos. It is the linchpin, for the heliocentric model of the solar system, in which Earth and water is said to be a ball of radius 3,959 miles, spinning at 1,040 miles per hour, and orbiting the sun at 66,600
Oh, come on, make it go. Make the spiral thing. Do it. Make the spiral thing. Make it go a billion times faster than it goes. Go ahead.
16 miles per
Do
hour
it.
through the infinite, absolute zero, freezing cold vacuum of outer space.
What does freezing cold have to do with it? See, he thinks using a lot of words in a sentence makes him sound smart. But it just sounds like a dumb person trying to stuff a lot of words into a sentence.
Not only that, but the stated distances to stars and planets, their alleged masses and sizes, are all calculated on the basis of this equation. That
Yes, and that equation has been proven true.
means that the entire model of the cosmos taught to us at school and depicted in sci-fi, from the spinning globe Earth
Yes, it decreases with the distance, not increases with the proximity. There's some cutoff to it.
to the expanse of outer space, from the Big Bang to the Big Crunch, is a mathematically contrived fantasy that rests on the singular faulty premise of universal gravitation.
So yeah, he is a flat earther.
Einstein didn't fix it either. He only generalized it and complicated it further, reframing the force in terms of bendy space-time, making way for even more absurd and far-reaching claims which became the foundation stone of 20th century physics. Einstein means first stone. The three biggest names in gravity are Newton, Einstein, and
Ein means one, not first. A German Jewish origin, the surname Einstein is of German Jewish origin, literally translating to one stone or a stone from the German word ein, one, and Stein, stone. That's why beer mugs are called steins, because they were made of stoneware.
Hawking. We can hardly even talk of gravity without
Wait, what did he say? Did he actually pronounce Stephen Hawking's name correctly?
gravity are Newton, Einstein, and Hawking. We can hardly even talk of gravity without mentioning their names.
He did. He didn't call him Stephen Hawkins. That's a breath of fresh air.
And they also happen to be the most artificially boosted science celebrities in all of human history. We are practically brainwashed into worshipping them as bastions of intellectual achievement, the most important contributors to human progress and enlightenment. But they are far from it. Now, Stephen Hawking...
Yeah, they're dumb. Those guys are dumb. I'm smart. They're dumb.
Or Epstein's favorite...
I don't know what a model is. I don't know what a model or a theory or anything is, but they're dumb.
cripple, is a rabbit hole unto himself. I have a chapter of my book dedicated to him, and I would refer you to that. But I will just say that the Hawking operation should be a real wake-up call for all those who worship at the altar of scientism, especially physicists. It is a...
Yep, another dumb fuck who calls science scientism. See, scientism is the language that scientists speak. The slang term is scientism. It's not a thing. It's a way of talking, stupid.
a travesty and a mockery that shows how deeply hypnotized, gullible, and foolish we all were, worshipping false idols on the TV and believing in totally unproven sci-fi nonsense such as gravity, black holes, and bendy space-time.
But they've all been proven, moron. They've all been proven.
The awakened physicists should be radicalized by this revelation and ready to tear up the last few centuries of state-sanctioned science. But maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's just you, because no, it's not just you. It's every other fucking flat earth dumb motherfucker like you.
The case against gravity doesn't even stop there, though. Why did this obscure, unproven theory become so widely disseminated in public?
It's not unproven.
public education long after Newton had departed the world stage.
Yeah, he has a book to sell, exactly.
Was it just the prop
And gullible conspiracy theorists have deep, deep pockets.
up heliocentrism in the globe model of Earth, or could there have been a deeper conspiracy? Underlying the agenda for new paradigms in physics lies a centuries-old hidden motivation to cover up some of the most ancient, empowering, and essential truths of our existence. I suspect that gravity, like its successor relativity, is ultimately all about eliminating the ether from the canon of scientific knowledge. So the last magician was also the
Oh, he believes in the ether. Oh, my fucking Lord. Of course he does.
first ether slayer. You see, there is another explanation for why
God damn, what a dumb fuck. Hey, Curious UK Debunks.
objects fall to the ground. One that doesn't require magical action at a distance, one that doesn't predict black holes or rely on the tiny movements of an 18th century contraption,
Okay, then what is it? What do you think it is, dumb fuck?
one that is intuitive
See, it's PhD. In his case, stands for PH dumb fuck.
and experimentally verifiable and known to ancient alchemists long before the age of the so-called Enlightenment. All that is required to explain downward motion is the concept of a medium.
Of a medium! Oh, he said the word. He said the thing. A medium?
Ether is the medium. And science
No. It's like Curious UK said the ether was disproven by Michelson Morley. You dumb fucking idiot.
has been determined to erase it. We live in a fluid medium, like the fishes that do not know they're in water. We observe
Prove it, motherfucker. Prove it. As Democ would say, bring me a bucket of ether. Bring me a bucket of ether, dipshit. Bring me a bucket of ether.
objects fall, and we attribute it to a magical force invented long ago by some big fish that we learned about in school. But nobody tells us about the medium, the substrate, the source. It's been cut out of scientific education altogether, like God, like spirit and soul, cast into the dustbin of history as primitive superstition and folly.
Yes, there's no such thing as the soul or the spirit. You're a stupid motherfucker.
So gravity hides ether because ether is the real reason why things fall. It can be understood as an omnipresent fluid of very, very low viscosity, in which the
And completely unprovable and you can't experiment with it. You can't prove it. You can't see it, can't taste it, can't feel it. You can't see it. You can't quantify it. But, oh, it's there. It's there. Despite all the other experiments we have that disprove it.
there are persistent currents and vortices, channels of energy like invisible rivers in the sky, flowing all the time around us and within us. There are two main vertical currents happening at all times. One flows from the heavens down into the earth, and one from the earth up into the heavens. As above, so below.
No, sorry, you're an idiot.
The earth is said to be negatively charged. Negative is feminine, like Mother Earth, and inward flowing, so it
Sexist fuck.
draws the ether down into itself. This results in the denser elements of earth and water being drawn down, while the lighter elements of fire and air are drawn up. So the substances that fall are the feminine elements, earth and
So if I have a plank of wood that's on fire, if I let go of it, it's going to fly up in the air.
water flowing downstream back to the Mother Earth, and the substances that rise are the masculine elements, air and fire, flowing upstream back to Father Sky. There is no
Oh, so what happens when a thing gets caught in that current? Like a small rock. I bet he thinks that small rocks can float. I bet he does.
mysterious attractive force called gravity
Just like a duck.
causing particles to pull on particles through an infinite.
See, this dumb motherfuckers like this are why people fucking burned witches, burned women alive because they thought they were witches. This is the thinking that retards our society.
Infinite freezing vacuum, but there
Hey, Dixie,
are currents of various
Good.
frequencies and sizes flowing
I'm feeling a lot better.
in the universal medium of the ether. Earth is the fixed, stationary expression of ether. Everything else, the water, air, and fire, the clouds, the stars, and the planets, are in constant vortex motion above and around the stationary Earth. This is the geocentric reality in which we live, the plane of existence, the plane of inertia. As above, so below, as within, so without. Welcome to the vortex.
God, what a stupid fuck. What a dumb motherfucker. Holy shit. I mean, just... I guess the flat earthers are right. You know, just because you have a PhD doesn't mean you're smart. I mean, he's just like that... Who's that one German lady who totally fucked a pooch? Can't remember her name. Got kind of wild orange hair. Can't remember her name. But yeah, she's turned into one of these dumb fucks. Anyway, that's all we have. What is her fucking name? Fuck. Professor Dave Explains has done a couple of videos on her. Fuck me. Professor Dave Explains. Her. Sabine. Yeah, Sabine. Sabine Hassenfelder. He's just another dumb fuck like she is. Yeah, Sabine Hassenfelder. Yeah, he's just another ignorant person who fell out of intelligence. It's sad. It really is. So anyway, that's all I have for you. I'm gonna close down for now. Been on for an hour. I think that's a good time to stop it. And he really doesn't have anything else to fucking talk about. He's an alchemist. It's just so funny. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.